who was supposed to challenge and oppose all of this, who repudiated it and created this successful political movement, now to be delivered.
All right, listen to this. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched an attack on Iran, taking out the current Ayatollah of Iran along with 40 top officials in his government. And girl, the fallout has been catastrophic on so many levels. But hold up, it's also stirring up a massive political debate on the right. And the big question people are asking is, who is really Donald Trump? He's not wrong. Look, when I say we need to understand what Trump did with MAGA between 2016 and 2020, we're talking about his presidency. And now he's gearing up for the 2024 election. And during that campaign, Donald Trump would basically run on this energy.
To start a war, because they said I had that personality to start a war. They remember that? Oh, we can't vote for him. He's going to start a war. No, I used my personality that we didn't have to have wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. Who started no new wars and no new wars.
All right, listen up. No new wars were supposed to happen, and this was actually viewed as a huge deal because Donald Trump wasn't a career politician before stepping into the White House. Girl, he came across as someone genuinely focused on making America great again, someone who didn't want soldiers dying overseas because of someone else's mess. But hold up, all of that flipped once the United States teamed up with Israel against Iran. In Jordan, 3 U.S. soldiers at a military base were killed in retaliation for that strike that wiped out the Ayatollah and 40 top officials. And now Americans, especially those on the far right, are seriously concerned. Let's be real here. Number one, most conservatives, especially non-black conservatives, carry some issues with black Americans, reparations, and constantly push that pull yourself up by your bootstraps ideology. But here's the big split right now, the division between conservatives who support Israel and those who are against Israel. The pro-Israel conservatives are folks like Brandon Tatum and a few others on that side. Then you've got the anti-Israel camp. People like Candace Owens, political commentator, Nick Fuentes, far-right activist, Mai Yin, and most of the extreme alt-right. A lot of them are white supremacists, while even some black conservatives aligned with white supremacists are strongly against Israel. Their argument? They claim Israel is controlling the U.S., that America fights wars on Israel's behalf, eliminates Israel's competition, and continues to get bullied or blackmailed by Israel. And girl, those are just a few of the points I keep hearing over and over. One of those voices, as I mentioned, is Nick Fuentes, and he definitely brings up some interesting takes.
Know that the same people that were behind the war in Iraq, they're the same people that have been beating the drum for war in Iran for just as much time. And they have tried to pressure many presidents into doing this, and they have moved the United States closer to a conflict like this.
All right, listen to this. He's talking straight about Israel here. Every conflict Israel gets into with its enemies, the United States somehow ends up getting pulled in. But hold up.
Who was supposed to challenge and oppose all of this, who repudiated it and created this successful political movement, now to be delivering for the same people. Repudiating those people and their agenda, for him now to be serving them, delivering for them what they have wanted for so long. Number one on their wish list. It's actually disturbing. It's disturbing what it says about how our country works, whether we, the people, are still in control. Is this a government of, by, and for the people? Do elections matter?
Now check this out. Here comes the criticism aimed at Donald Trump. People are saying, you promised to make America great again. You bragged about no new wars, but hold up, here we are. At first, he rejected getting involved with Israel, denying any action, claiming he wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. But girl, what happens next? He flips the script, back in Israel, and now Americans are dying overseas, and people are pointing fingers at him. And hold up, he's definitely not the only one who's upset about this.
It's I'm not happy about the whole thing. I don't think this was in America's interest. I don't see how this is in keeping with the president's MAGA commitment.
All right, listen up. Let's break this down. First, we've got Eric Prince. Yeah, the big-time mercenary. Hold up, this guy is wild. And then you've got Steve Bannon, former executive chairman of Breitbart News. He and Eric Prince often collaborate on strategies for privatizing foreign policy and military ops. Now, Eric Prince isn't just some bystander. He founded the private military firm Blackwater, the guys who were all over Iraq doing all kinds of stuff. And even he's sounding the alarm, saying, yo, this is going a little too far. But girl, he's not the only one raising eyebrows. Enter the Hodgetwins. Finally, these guys had enough guts to challenge Donald Trump. Remember, they were part of the MAGA movement that pulled Trump's train from obscurity to conservative success. But now, suddenly, the Hodgetwins are anti-Trump. They said, President Trump has completely lied to his voters, backstabbed our country, and has disgraced his legacy. And girl, when they said legacy, I was like, y'all still can't spell. At this point, his reputation, beyond repair. The biggest fall from grace I've ever seen. And hold up, they keep crying out while people are coming at them too. They said, we stand by what we said. Feel free to unfollow us. We won't stay quiet about Americans being sent to die for Israel. Now, I kind of see what they're saying. Obviously, some of those Americans being sent overseas are black, and it's happened before. They also raised a good point. Why is everyone debating what war? Girl, tell that to the families of fallen soldiers. Tell that to the troops living in constant fear. Whether you call it a war or a military operation, it's all the same. American lives are at risk. And it's wild seeing some on the right downplay this. I pray for those soldiers and their families every single day. And hold up, they also said, I got a feeling that J.D. Vance is against this war. Now they're over here trying to get clout from J.D. Vance. And yeah, he knows sending Americans to the Middle East wasn't what the base voted for. That's true. Others pointed out, Trump admits we expect casualties in Iran attacks, but argues it'll be a great deal despite losses. And the Hodgetwins, they said, what the F? We didn't vote for this. Now, going back to when they called out Trump lying, this is when the heat started coming. People online like Johnny Midnight said, I wonder if these two were ever really on our side. And then Top Lobster chimed in, the president lied to your face, but somehow it's the Hodgetwins that betrayed you. Girl, the boomer mindset is less about age and more about this spiritual disposition. But wait, there's more. Republican voters started dragging the Hodgetwins, calling them libards for not supporting Americans dying for Israel. Calm down. And girl, the wake-up call for the Hodgetwins keeps coming. Now listen, I vote Republican, I lean right, but I'm not MAGA. I don't do rallies, I just vote. And for the last 10 years, I've leaned this way. But I've never tried to fit in with white Republican voters. I've always tried to be accepted in the community I love, which is the black community. Now, even though the Hodgetwins are right to call out Donald Trump, check this. People in the base are turning on them and using racist tropes, basically saying, y'all are black, that's why you're talking. And girl, the irony? The Hodgetwins used the same racist language against black people before, but now they're on the receiving end. Damn, damn, damn. Now they're being told to go back to the community, go back to the ghetto. The same language they threw at others is now thrown at them. So listen, what do you guys think about all this?